Beautiful.
Good morning, everybody. I am going to quickly move you guys into the spotlight and turn over this conversation to Larry Stoller. Good morning and thank you.
Good morning. Are we going to both be in the spotlight? Here we are. Hi, Dr. Sandra.
Hi, Dr. Larry.
Hey, so great to be with you again today.
Yes.
I was thinking one of the things that I find really important and challenging in the work we do is how to think about change. People come to us with some complaint and they're looking for change, right? Like they're anxious, they're having some relationship challenge, or something isn't working in their life. And if they come to us, I think they get a different perspective on what's that about? Like, what's the problem about? We've been talking about that, but also like, so what is change? And is it possible? Is something like deep change possible? And does that matter? Does saying deep change add anything to our understanding? And I'm going to say, I'll just jump in and say, I think it does, because for me, it's like, it's a mind, body, spirit. Those levels have to change. They all have to change. And generally speaking, what I want is to see a movement on the energy spirit level, because I know that will affect everything else. And it's easier. We understand, I think, that it's easier to make some change, some deep, important change, if you have the energetics in place. So that's something that's not part of conventional therapy. But it is for me and how I think. But even so, people find it really difficult to change.
Absolutely.
And I just think it would be fun to talk about that a bit.
And as I'm listening to you, one of the things I thought about was how when we are making these deep changes, it's like when we are practicing, we're doing our Qigong practice. I mean, doing Dragon's Way, right? Let's take that for an example. Like the first 3 weeks, you just might be eating healthier, you might be doing your movements, but you might not be like, oh, like I'm 8 pounds lighter, right? Like that may not show up in the first, like, right? But we know that once we start to initiate this connection to this deeper energetic level, to our spirit, to what really drives us, we know that change is beginning. So some of it is like trusting the process. Like, so it's like you keep going with what you know works, even though you haven't gotten the big thing that you want to see yet. So that's one of the things I think becomes challenging for people, is that I don't want to be upset by my boss anymore. I just don't want to be that upset. I don't want to. And so you start talking about how you make that little shift, right? When your boss does something upsetting and so, all right, you get a little better. And so today you went and it was okay. Like the boss did something, it's like, oh, I'm good, right? But like next week, you might kind of slip a little. So change is much more of a circular kind of a spiraling up, right? A spiraling out, spiraling into something, rather than this kind of nice straight line. Oh, I got there, right?
Right. So you have to be patient with that whole process and with yourself, because, again, I think if I'm thinking about it from our, say, framework from Grandmaster Lu, we'll be talking about, like, in order for these kinds of profound changes to happen, you have to get to the root cause. Otherwise, what's happening is there's something out of balance. And we say, well, that thing that's out of balance is going to be reflected in your life. How you're moving through your life, there's going to be ways in which you're out of balance. And that experience of being out of balance is affecting you on many levels. That's, again, the mind, body, spirit, level. And so when you start to commit to addressing that, then turns out you have a lot of things to clean up and address on each of those areas. And I think we can help people do that. I mean, I believe I can help people do that. The energetic practices are strong, and that will help them. And, I think it's really important to help people, encourage people to challenge the beliefs they have about, who they are and what's supposed to be happening in the world and all of that, because they encounter what they want to encounter. So, we all do. So we have to address that. So when we start making those multi-level changes, then we can move to another spot on this cycle. It might not hold because it might not. Also just practice, we want people to practice different things, and, everyday practice is challenging. So I kind of think of it like that.
Yeah. Something you said that I think is really important. I often say that if beliefs had a motto, it would be, I run this show.
Right.
And, we can do our practices, but once we start shifting, right, the way we think about this meridian system and this energy system in our body is connected to everything, like everything we do. Like if there's no disconnection between our body,
Beautiful.
the energy that drives it, our thoughts, our emotions, they're all a team, right? And so if there's something stuck in those beliefs that's kind of holding us in a bad rhythm, right, or a bad pattern that's like kind of shutting us down, or a stagnant pattern, then it's got to show up. So when it shows up, we're like, oh God, I thought I was over that, but maybe I'm not. Okay, let me just go with it. Let me just feel into it. Let me take it into my practice. Like a simple thing for me is I really love the marching practice that we do, because I can just go in that with whatever I'm feeling and begin to start to notice, all right, so what's coming to me about this thing I'm dealing with, and just let myself be with it. And trust that I'm going to come up with, okay, how do I now take the next step to allow myself to process this belief, to heal whatever seems to still be left there, so that I can move, on to deeper change, to something that's more lasting. Right.
That's cool. Because I think people listening may not realize that what you described is the process of someone who has an established practice. Like, because you've done marching, let's say, as an example, and you've done it enough, you can use the marching as a way to access something that might be slippery otherwise, and you can find it, and there's a good chance you're gonna find it, and you find something, another source to inform your thinking or your understanding, not just the usual mind patterns that we have. And that's beautiful, because we know it's an energetic practice, it's a physical practice, it affects us emotionally, all the layers are there, and you've learned to trust that. And okay, I'm going to do 5-10 minutes of marching right now, and I can just do the marching, and then I'll see what happens. That's what you're saying, and that's what regular practice offers people. And it's a great example.
And what helps us get there, though, Larry, is our partners, right? I didn't get there by myself, right? I got there by being a part of a community. I got there by having a Qigong grandmaster. And this sort of constant infusion of, all right, how do you make your practice a part of your everyday life?
That's right.
Like, let your life be your practice.
So the idea of partners is that introduces a whole nother rich, perhaps, conversation for us, because the change we were talking about does not happen alone.
No.
We're like you said, everything's connected, but we're also connected. And when we discover other ways, I think that's what happens. As you go through a process like this, you discover ways to re-understand your connections to people who need to be around you, who's supposed to be around you, who can help you, who can you help, that support this. It's all more virtuous, positive movement with others. So absolutely. That's another side. That's great. I think it's a really important idea. Look who's back. Jenny, you're back.
Jenny!
Hi. I can't hear you though. But
I love this conversation today, guys.
Good.
Thanks.
Because change can't happen in a vacuum.
That's right.
It can't happen alone. And that means we have to know what you just said. We've got to ask for help, and we got to get help from people we really want it from.
Who understand, what is the process.
Absolutely.
and they're experiencing it, and or maybe they've done exactly what you're doing and they've been through it. So it's really valuable. So
All right.
it might be it for today, I think.
I think so. Thanks, Jenny.
Let's continue this theme next week. I want to know if it's even possible to sustain change, real change.
Yeah, good.
And what
That's
that looks
great.
like. I think it looks like something then different than it actually is.
Mhm.
Maybe.
It's beautiful. Let's do it.
Bye.
Okay, have a great one.
Wednesday.
Bye-bye.
Have a great
Thanks,
week.
Sandra.
Have a good
Bye.
day.